As of today, a new $650 tax-free benefit is available for some Canadians. This was passed with Bill C-31. It passed on November 17th of this year, and now applications are open. So in today's video, we're gonna go through what this benefit is, how you can apply, when you should be expecting to get that $650, as well as an update about the other benefit that applications aren't open, but we do have a date on when those applications will open. That one is for the Canada Housing Benefit. So make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep staying updated on all things that you need to know in Canada. And let's just get into this right away. This is going to be an info-packed video, so you might find at times you need to pause and rewind and rewatch to get all of this information quickly, but you can also slow down the speed at which I'm going through this by clicking the settings button at the bottom of the video and slowing down the playback speed. Either way, there's going to be a bunch of information in here for you. The first benefit that we're going to be talking about today, that the application actually opens today, is the Canada Dental Benefit. This is a benefit designed to give children under the age of 12 dental care, but there are some stipulations here. You need to be making less than $90,000 per year as a family, combined income. And again, you have to make sure that your child who is under 12 years old does not have access to a private dental insurance plan, either through your work or some sort of other paid dental insurance program. Now, the amount that you receive from this benefit does slide on a scale depending on how much income you make, but there are three distinct tiers that you can fall into, either getting $260 per child who's eligible, $390 per child who's eligible, or $650 is the full maximum amount per child who is eligible. And something you might not know is this is much like the CRB, split up into different periods that you have to apply in each period for. This one is only 2 separate periods, and this program lasts for 2 years. So you're going to have another date that you can apply for this again. And I'll give you a date here just coming up in a minute so you can circle your calendar to make sure that you don't miss the second period of this, and so that you can actually apply before that period. Because if you don't apply in the period that is open, while it's open, well, you just can't apply for that retroactively. You have to make sure you apply in this period to get the full amount in both periods. But we'll get into more details on that in a second. We've covered some of this, but let's get into more detail on the eligibility criteria or the requirements that you need to fill in order to be eligible to apply for this $650 in the first period. The first one, your kid has to be under 12 years of age. So that's born on or after December 2nd, 2010, as well as receiving dental care services in Canada between the dates of October 1st, 2022 and June 30th, 2023. They actually want to see that you are planning on getting these dental services done before they send the money. So they're saying you have to have a plan here to actually get this done over this next period. And here's one where you can take a closer look at the language because it's open for a little bit of interpretation. They say you should book your dental appointment for your child before applying because they're going to be asking for details about your child's dental provider, like what dentist did you go to, what's their phone number, as well as the expected appointment date. That must be provided when you apply. They only say should here, so it sounds like you can apply for this if you are expecting to have an appointment and you have an expected date in your mind on when this is going to get done, but it seems like they are going to have more ways to track and to go back after the fact to make sure that you didn't apply for this fraudulently when your child didn't actually receive any dental services. And they're noting here that you will need to repay amounts you received if your child doesn't receive that dental care within the period. The next point here is that your child doesn't have access to any sort of private coverage for dental, right? This could be through your job or even through another province, right? Some provinces already have dental care for their children, so you can't really double up on this federal benefit. This is for people that don't currently have coverage. One important thing to note is that if you had the option to say, yes, I want dental coverage, but you said no, if you declined an employer's provided dental insurance plan, well, you can't apply for this one. Here they just reiterate again that they can't be in any other dental program by other levels of government. But one important thing to note here is that your child has to already be receiving CCB. That's the Canada Child Benefit, the set amount of money that people under a certain age or people who have children under a certain age get sent regularly. This CCB is something that if you've done your taxes and you have a child and you've claimed that child, that sounds kind of a weird way of saying it, but if you've claimed that child in your taxes, have indicated you have a dependent under such and such an age, you would be automatically receiving the CCB. This didn't require a specific application. And they didn't need that application because in order to qualify for this dental benefit as well as the CCB, you need to have filed your 2021 taxes. That's how they determine what your income was to determine what amount you're going to receive as a result of this benefit. Now down the road, when the next period happens, that starts on July 1st, 2023, you might want to circle that date, but there are some other eligibility requirements if you're to receive this second $650 payment. In total per kid, this could be $1,300 over the next 2 years. But again, there are other eligibility criteria for this additional payment, but we'll get into that closer to that date. And here's a chart that shows the different tiers on how much you can expect from the government based on your income. If your family net income is below $70,000, you can expect the full amount, $650. Again, if it's shared custody, then it's split between the two parents, right? I'm not going to go into that every time here. 70,000 to 79, it is lowered, right? If you're making more money, you receive less from the government. That's $390 per child. 80 to $89,000 last year, you'd receive $260. And if you're making 90 grand or more, well, you wouldn't be eligible for this benefit because the government says, hey, you could probably cover this yourself. If you were to apply for this benefit today, they say that the processing time is 5 to 10 days, so you can expect to see that money directly in your account, especially if you have MyCRA direct deposit set up with the Canada Revenue Agency. You can expect to see this money in your account within 5 to 10 days, so if you're applying today, that would make it December 15th that you should probably have this money in your account. Now, if you ever applied for the CRB or CERB and you did so through the CRA, the application process is very similar. For applying for this dental benefit, you're going to want to log into your MyCRA account on the CRA's online portal, and that's where you can apply. And there is actually right at the top a little information thing because I signed in today, and today's the first day that you can apply for this Canada dental benefit. So you can just go ahead and click apply now if you are eligible for this benefit. Now, unfortunately, I can't walk you through the rest of this because, well, I don't have a kid, so I'm not eligible, and the CRA knows this. When I click apply now, this is the screen I get. You're not receiving this benefit. You're not receiving the CCB, right? That's the qualification. You got to have a kid under such and such an age. So likely the rest of the application process will just ask for those details that I talked about when proving your eligibility when we're going through those eligibility requirements previously. They're already going to know your income, right? You're not going to have to provide or attest that you're making over or under a certain amount. The only thing that you're going to have to sort of attest to or promise them that you will do is take your kid to get dental services with this money in the period that you're applying for, right? But you don't have to qualify your income or anything like this because the CRA already knows one of the eligibility requirements is that you did file your 2021 taxes. So they're just going to use all of that info to determine whether or not you're actually eligible for the benefit. Now for the second benefit that we're going to talk about today, this is the one that the application isn't open as of yet, but I do have a date for you on when this application will open up, and that is the Canada Housing Benefit. This is a benefit that's going to go to Canada's lowest income renters. There are a number of eligibility requirements, and let's go over them here. You can see here on the one-time top-up to Canada's Housing Benefit that applications are not yet available, but they will open up and become available on December 12th, 2022, and it's very likely that the way that you're going to apply for this Canada Housing Benefit is very similar to the way that people are today applying for the Canada Dental Benefit. Now, this benefit is just a one-time top-up of $500, and again, just like the dental benefit, you have to qualify under certain eligibility requirements, mainly what your income is and how much rent you're paying relative to that income. And an important thing to note that wasn't clear initially, and that I've sort of said wasn't clear initially in previous videos, is that now they're clarifying that you do not need to receive other housing benefits, such as the Canada Housing Benefit, which is co-funded and delivered by the provinces and territories. So this is called a top-up to the Canada Housing Benefit, which led people to believe before this was announced that people who were on the Canada Housing Benefit, which is a program that's administered by the federal government in partnership with each and every individual different province, that you'd need to already be a recipient of this provincial Canada Housing Benefit in order to qualify for this federal top-up, but it seems that that is not the case. You only have to meet these eligibility requirements and you don't have to have any involvement with the provincial level of this same program. We're going to go through this in rapid fire, but here are the eligibility requirements for this Canada Housing Benefit that is, again, opening up on the 12th. So we've got, you have to be at least 15 years old on December 1st, 2022. That's today when I'm filming this video. You have to have your principal residence in Canada, so the main place that you live for the majority of the year has to be in Canada, as well as being a resident of Canada in 2022 for tax purposes, and you have to have filed your 2021 income tax return, as well as if you have a spouse or common law partner, they also have to have filed their income taxes because this is something that's going to be considered in the income portion of this benefit. And just like the dental benefit, there is a hard cap for people that are going to be able to apply for this. If you are a family, like a multi-person household, a multi-income household, common law or married or what have you, you have a max income of $35,000 or less for families. And if you're an individual, that cap is $15,000 lower at $20,000 of income in a year to be eligible for this benefit. So this is the lower income of Canadians, right? There's likely going to be only a margin of people that are making under this that also will fall into the other eligibility requirement, which is how much you pay in rent per month. Because in order to apply for this rental relief benefit, the Canada Housing Benefit, a one-time top-up for Canadian renters, you have to have actually paid rent in Canada this year, paid in the 2022 calendar year, and paid for any of your qualifying principal residences in 2022. And also this rent that you've paid has to be equal to at least 30% of your 2021 adjusted family net income. Let's clarify what that means, right? The total amount that you claimed on your taxes as your income last year, the amount that you paid in rent over those 12 months, every month added up, has to equal at least 30% of your total income. So that means if you are single or living alone, we've got this $20,000 income requirement, which means the rent that you would have to pay in order to be eligible for this, if you have under $20,000 of income, is around $6,000, right? 30% of your $20,000 income. That number might be a little bit different if you made a little bit less than $20,000, or if you're a family here, it's a different calculation entirely. We've got $35,000 or less for families, so 30% of that is $10,500. So if you are making roughly $35,000 a year, you have to be paying rent of roughly $10,000 or $10,500, right? Again, calculations are going to be a little bit different for you on a case-by-case basis based on the income that you made in 2021. So if you meet all of those eligibility requirements for that Canada Housing Benefit, that application will open up on December 12th. I'll make another update video here just walking through the process like I did for the dental benefit. So make sure to subscribe so you'll get reminded as soon as this becomes available, as well as if any other benefits or anything like this pop up, along with many other Canadian economic news sort of points that I cover on the channel. Make sure to subscribe and let me know what you think about everything we've covered today. Do you think that these benefits are enough? It's all part of the Canadian Liberal government's cost of living or help package that they're trying to put together for Canadians, which includes, these are the things that they're pointing out the most, the one-time doubling of the GST tax credit over the course of 6 months. Many people would have received that GST tax credit, as well as this dental benefit, as well as the Canada Housing Benefit. These things we covered in today's video, the three of these together are the most impactful benefits that they're putting forward to combat the cost of living. Do you think it's enough? Do you think that they should have focused on one area instead of another? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one and try to get back to a bunch of them. Like I said, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And with all of that said, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.